good morning or afternoon, whenever. Couldn't have another artistic day making beautiful things. Whatever time is a coffee time or tea time, whatever you want time. So this is a Saturday show right now. I don't care. I'm working on this sucker until Majora's Mask is done. It's just me and my boy here chilling, so it's not like we're gonna be doing anything. So I figured, hey, I'm gonna keep on this thing until it's done. Like I said yesterday, I think, this is great because it's keeping me on it. And that's what I want. Okie dokie. Today I am going to be working on a little bit of my darker purple. So my midnight purple, I'm going to have to make up my version. My midnight purple, I notice, is a little bit, it's got like a white kick to it, so gray, I guess you'd say. So a gray toned midnight purple. Get the little beauties on there every once in a while. Some people don't like touching their paint. I'm always in paint. All my fingers are coated with like colors of things. I don't know. Got used to it. Need a manicure. Pedicure's feet. A manicure and pedicure. I mean, my feet need too. Why neglect my feet? Shouldn't do that. Yeah, no, exciting. I've been running with these colors to make this. I'm just going to keep going with it. Even though I do need a new blue. My blue, I just need to go buy it. I don't even care where I get my acrylics. I like to get a decent variety, but you can get it from mostly. You're going to be using it for this. Because when you're done, I put a clear coat over it. Makes this thing pretty solid. I don't like going gloss for my clear coats on any of my stuff unless I'm literally trying to go for like eyeballs or a liquidy look. Most of my stuff's going to either be matte, so I like a clear matte. Clear semi-gloss is still a little too glossy for me, but if you use a matte, it still has a nice shine, looks more realistic as far as I'm concerned. So I get a clear matte finish, enamel to put on top of it. Lately, for the big stuff, I bring most of my things into the middle. I have a weird memory for color. I always kind of remember what I put into it. It's rare that I use blacks and whites determinately. I prefer to go creams and stuff like that. That's still a little too purple, I think. Well, that might be it. And work with it. So that's what I'm going to be working with. So I end up using a little bit too big of a brush. I'm kind of a goon like that sometimes. So what I'm going to do is I try to get every little bit. Because when I mix color, I don't really always mix a lot. I don't know why. I'm doing a lot, but right now I'm just going to be tightening up around certain things right now because I'm not really worried. I'm not trying to go for the actual total. Get off there, buddy. I'm going to use you. simple. Cool. So I was gonna talk about my color palette a little bit. You can almost see, once I start going, you can see my patterning is pretty simple. I keep my lighter stuff. I roll it around Roy G. Biv. I don't have any green in here, but you can see I pull my purples and my browns and stuff will kind of sometimes turn to something. Sometimes I'll have my blacks over in here too, but I like to keep my blues, purples. I have my reds usually next to my oranges and my yellows because that's usually what I'm going to be pulling together. Like I said, I like to have my primaries in here. And the best thing to do is pull a primary pattern on this, almost triangulate it. That's the best way to do it. But if you're not going to be using one of the colors, don't worry about it. Or lightly using it like the way I'm using my purple. I'm more worried about like the oranges and stuff like that. I got to capture most of this because smeared it a little too much around. Let's see if I can work it. Let's see if this works. Yeah, kind of good. That should do it. I'm going to pull my lines out now that I don't like. There it is. Yeah, I'm just... There we go. There we go. Okay. That pulls that line out. I'm trying to keep that width distance between the black line here and my... And that side's looking pretty nice. I followed that one pretty decent. But I can pull out a little bit on the other side where it's thick. See it right over here. I don't like how I have a little bit of a wobble. How's that purple look? That looks good. It'll work. Many times a tackle. Pull this little chunk out there. Come over to here. So don't worry about really flubbing. Try to keep your stuff tight. It saves you a lot of time. But that's why I always say know your color palette. Know your tones. Just really spend time staring at many color charts. Always know that your secondary colors, how to know what colors go good with other colors by knowing its, opposite side of the color palette will usually work as its complementary color. So those things right there, and you can shade off, bring your shading in and off a little bit, which also, brings me to, once you get your tonal colors, then it really comes down to your style. And like I said before, I tend to be a layering style. Some people are really, really hard on their colors, but really all depends on what you're going for. If you're going to go for a lot of the video game look that people are doing right now, which I think is pretty sweet in the cosplay. Flatter colors. Okay, I'm going to pull this line tight now. Oh, that looks clean. Okay, there it goes. I just had some garbage right through here that was just drawing my eye. I try to keep myself on a timeline. I love when I have projects where I have, I do a lot of commission work. And with that, timelines really get crazy. don't know how often you end up having to, your stuff's drying as you're bringing it to the situation that you're doing it for. See how I brought that out? So that right there, when I start to pull up that thicker line, and I'm gonna have to open that up over here a little more, and then I'll play with this side, bringing the white even over more and bringing the purple. And then you just go till it looks good. I mean, you don't have to be perfect. Perfect is, I made this imperfect for a reason. And the reason why I went imperfect is because I noticed most things that are done good have a personality to them. And I've always noticed that personalities come with their flaws. So enjoying the imperfections ends up becoming the perfection of it. So I kind of have I don't know, I've always enjoyed, if I may, the Japanese style where, you know, a lot of their pottery is kind of, it's more about the imperfections that they're doing with it more than the perfections. So it's the little flaw in the cup that makes that cup so unique that you're like, I want that one, not all the other standard one-off cups that look just like the others. I want this one. And that's what I kind of like. If you can see that something that is imperfect, but it is still just beautiful to the eye, that's where I see humanity, is understanding our imperfections end up becoming our perfections. We still know that as humanity. We really do, even though it doesn't look like it all the time. We do get that. I think I hear it. Everyone says the same thing, but differently, and we all don't know. We're screaming the same stuff at each other. Much like my wacky mask. I'm gonna clean up this line a little bit. Just like this. Put a happy little line right here. Yeah, that line looks real happy. Homage. Loved that guy. Ah, if I may. That was truly an inspirational individual. Bob Ross, everybody. Have some, give a few seconds to the man Bob Ross, who was a true inspiration to me. I don't ever do his style, ever. But watching someone who has the ability to know their style and skill so well that effortlessly put onto a canvas can change the anything at a moment's notice, that to me is astronomical. Painters like that have, it's hard to say, the creator essence of being able to have nothing in front of you and to be able to, out of nothing, extrapolate. It's a true, like I said, it's a true creator, true creator. And that's what I was inspired by, is watching a man or a woman, really, I can care less who it is. If you're doing it, do it awesome. I'll respect the heck out of you, because anyone doing it is being done, which is obvious, but it's not at the exact same time, because really, when done, who cares? That's just, it's amazing to see it done. I think that's what we need to respect again, is the fact that who cares? It's being done. It's family. We got to get back to good old family awesomeness, which I'm not saying anyone isn't. But family. Gotta have the love and respect of a family, which is unique because understanding anyone's essence is so difficult in a society, I think. Your essence may be a creator, but if a creator's not needed at the moment, then your creations might be stifled. Might be. I'm not saying they will. I think everyone has the opportunity to create whatever they want whenever they want. So your situation is your own. I could be wrong. So what I'm doing right now is touching up my last few days of lining. Like just kind of making it, pulling things around, seeing how it looks, and then just tossing it back and forth and replicating. I kind of want to tighten up these lines and make them a little thinner, but I like, most people has a little bit wider one. And the reason for it is I did these eyeballs free on my original. I just drew it and drew it. I'm pretty good at being congruent, even though if you look at it, it's not. But that's my point. I like being a little imperfect. I like that. It's just me. I like that these aren't even 1,000,000%. We aren't. Look at me. Take a snapshot, cut in half. I don't think I'm symmetric. But I find that to be good. Not everyone does, and I know pure beauty is defined by its symmetric ability. You know, it's true symmetric. But I will also argue by saying if you can make something beautiful and it not be symmetric is when you become more natural. Because most things aren't. Most humans aren't. Most animals aren't. No tree is, I'll tell you that much. I imagine if you really, really from the seeds just sprouting up, if you were to catch the seed at the right sprouting stage and you kept light on it, perfect. There may be a way to define the symmetricality of a tree in some form of true mathematical perfection, but you would have to be regulating so much because it's so many things that create a tree's imperfections of perfection. Cloudy day changes the patterning of the leaves, forming that during the course of that day. No sunlight gets the leaves to do another thing all the way around in a 360-degree, all the way around the tree, which is why, if you think about it, that's the beauty of it. So every tree has their sunnier side. Other trees shadowing over it create different forms and different functions. So it's the grouping of them which also creates the layering of that individual tree, which is kind of like us. Could be. Yeah, that's really, see how I'm separating that? It is the hubris of ourselves to believe that there is a true individuality. I love it though. You feel so individual because you are amongst your own self in your own brain, thinking your own thoughts. But it is truly the shadowing and shading of other things which create your dimensionality, your anti-symmetries, your things that make you you. So we fight amongst the actual symmetries because nothing is nothing's really symmetric. Which is why sometimes in the computer animated things, I think we have a little bit of trouble. So easy to be symmetric. Playing in the, I like to do a lot of stuff in Blender, which is a open source 3D program. Great one too. I highly recommend it. To find out if you want to maybe upgrade to something of a higher scale, it's definitely the way to roll. It's called Blender. Anyone can get it, use it. It'll blow your mind. So with that right there, my boy's back on. So with that right there, you start to realize when I do my 3D stuff that it's so easy to just block things out in symmetry. Any 3D person knows you block it out in symmetry. And of course, afterward, you take off the symmetry and then you make your imperfections along the way. But you originally based everything on symmetry. It's what in your life throws off your symmetry is you. What tree did you stand behind to create your shadowing that created your dimensional aspects of the leaf pattern of your life? So with that, I say is why I like to kind of keep my stuff non-symmetrical. That's such a long-winded thing to do, to just say that I don't like to keep things too symmetrical, huh? Hello, that was my philosophy behind it. I hope you get it. So yeah. And that's that. I'm tightening up those, and that looks real nice that I'm tightening them up. See, they look thick, but I know I'm going to tighten certain areas and move it around later with, like I said, what I'm doing it right now. The way I'm doing this is what I'm going to do to a lot of this. And when it happens, it goes from this uniquely looks neat to whoa, it just focuses it in, pulls in the energy of it. And I do the same thing as always. I keep my paint light. I don't use a lot of it. And I said, right now I'm just going to try to keep things very evenish. So what I'm doing is I can just see the purple, because I keep it very liquidy. I can just see that purple shadow over it. And that's where I'm trying to define my line. There it is. So I don't know if it's very visual on there, but there's still a cloudiness in there. There. Over it again. It's almost like when you're staining wood. Give it one coat is good. Give it two, you just double your stain power. Felt like a infomercial guy saying that. Double your stain power. So that's tightening up nice. So yesterday I was kind of alluding to it, and I know I got off topic, but whenever I go through, the first time you set your color is the hardest time because you're really setting your color. So from here, what I would be able to do the second, third, fourth is every single time after that, it just goes faster and faster and faster and faster. Because what I would do if this became the pattern I liked, everything worked good, I'd take a tracing paper. I cut out sections that kind of look close to it, lay it in there, draw it out, cut it out as relative as possible, lay it back out flat again, and then I go through and I make templates for all these things. So that way I can line things out, and that way I can just draw around them nice and clean. So what I would do for my second, third, and fourth is I would be painting this all, the colors, color, black, the way I did before. And then I'd be dropping nice little thin blue line. And then I'd be able to go through with a thin paintbrush and catch this line that I want. So that way the second, third, fourth, and after that, this becomes an actual rhythm where it's actually real smooth, and I can get a dozen of these things done at one sitting very fast. The first one, though, is where you're just going to be eating all your time. Second one takes a little bit of time, too. But like I in my personal experience, from the third on, you've got the rhythm. So don't ever think, well, the first one took so long, it's going to be hard for me to do multiples. Actually, it gets faster. And then once you get to a real good industrial speed of it, and I say industrial speed of it because that's what you'd be doing, is utilizing your industrial ability to keep multiples going online. And that right there, once you find out your industrial ability, then you just maximize that. Start doing things in bulk. Like what I'd do is, if I found that people really like this is me just saying this. If I found people really like this, I would pull X amount of molds, 5 molds right off the bat. Take those 5 molds, and I would probably start getting things set up so I can do double pours if I needed to for certain things, just so I can maximize all my ability. I'd make 3, 4, 5, 6 molds, all singles, and then you can just pour them all at once, pat them all in, and then you can start pulling 5 at a time, 10 at a time. And that's when you start, like I said, maximizing your industrial capability. So if you know how many you can do in a day, like really, you had a whole box full, you're gonna have to go and you can start, and you realize I can probably get 10 done in a day if I line them all up like this in a row, and I can sit down, I can have them all circular around me, which I like to do circular, so I can sit in a chair that allows me to spin, and I would have all these hanging around me, and I would be able to airbrush them in a nice little circle like I've done in the past for certain things. And I just do things fast when I can get a rhythm. So once you get your purple out, and you're going to be tightening up your purple line, well, you're going to be tightening up your purple line for all of them, if that's the way that you have to paint it. But truthfully, you should be trying to maximize your painting skills by only having to do things once, not having to do things back up and clean anything up. So like I said, when you're doing things, there's the art of it. If you're planning on doing one, take your time. Really take your time. Make it perfect. Don't think this thing, I mean, unless you're on a timeline where you're getting ready to go to a Comic-Con or something, and you only have 2 days, and you're literally trying to make a whole mask in 2 or 3 days, then yeah, you're gonna be staying up late and hair drying your thing till the last second. Guilty, done it many times. So the other thing I like to always talk about when it comes to any of these style things is you also have to, now that I'm making this right here, and it's going to get to a stage where I'm going to be able to say it's done, now it's ready to go out into the cosplay world, you have to contend with usability, durability, playability. Is it going to be used for kids? If it's used for kids, your painting style almost can change a little bit. It can be a little lighter on the detail and a lot heavier on the style of paint you're going to use. You can start using maybe acrylic, some acrylic modeling paints for certain things, and just maybe leaving patterns, taping things down, and then just literally going for just airbrush in your modeling paint, just to create a real let's go up on that side. So you can really have a solid, it'll be solid, just rock solid when you're done. So if you're going for that look, for like I said, playability, you would downplay a lot of the detail, keep colors real singular and solid if you can. And I'd airbrush this with, like I said, with modeling style paints to create a real durable mask. This sucker right here would really have some playability. So if your kid's really into a Majora's Mask and they want to have this done, I would do it in acrylic. Not acrylic. I'd do it in enamel. Modeling enamel paints. If you're going for cosplay, I would go more acrylics. Take your time, blotch stuff in, and then when you're done, you finish it with a coat of, like I said, a clear matte or clear gloss if you want the thing to be super glossy. And that's the beauty of being able to just use any kind of acrylic underneath it to not have to worry about a gloss at all. That's not going to be what you're thinking about. You're thinking more about just the sheer look of it. So much easier to get all your tones rubbed in. And even when you do, if you have a good base that has a lot of detail in it, when you do your enamel after you're done, you can still wipe in some dark, some browns to get that finished rough look. And it still has playability. So you can do details. It's just you're not going to be able to have, it's just tougher, should I say, to do some of the more real down deep color details. So you got to trade out a few things. It's just the way it goes. And you really don't have to. Take your time, mix your colors right in your airbrush. You can start mixing. You just got to know how to do it. I mean, you got to work with if things are wet. You got to start airbrushing light and wet and kind of get things to fan and do things and heat guns to move it around a little to kind of blend. It's the way I've done it in the past to get a decent blend, and it kind of looks a little blotchy sometimes if you don't do it right. But some people are real good at it. They don't need to use anything. They just get in there and they do it all the time. I use airbrush a lot, but I use it for very specific things. I've done full-on paintings with it back in the past in my youth, and I wouldn't mind getting back into doing that again. It's just you really gotta really work you gotta really work your trigger. I like to use two-stage airbrushes, so they pull down and they pull back and forth, which allow for your airflow is back and forth, and then down is how much paint you're going to allow. Yes. No. Yes. No, because pulling back pulls the needle back, and that's your paint. So pulling back's your paint, sorry, and then pulling down is your airflow. Okay, so today I am going to be. This is my little man here. We're morningizing it right now, so he's all jammied up. We're gonna jam it.
And for all of you guys out there, tell your kids to watch JohnnyTronic. That's me.
Coming up.
Gaming, fun stuff, toys, unboxing.
Yep. It's gonna be a lot of fun. He ain't no joking it. We are going to be setting up our stream video to where we're going to have the little dude chilling in the corner, and this dude here, Pokemon card game and Sword and Shield game, which we have Sword, and we are this. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the gamer, and he's good. Ain't no joke about how good the dude is. So you guys are going to be, I think, highly impressed to see the skills of my manimal here.
And after a few videos, I'm also going to be doing live on YouTube.
You all as well. So we'll be doing days like this probably on the weekends for the dudes. So what we're going to do is we're going to put out a couple videos for JohnnyTronic coming out real soon. And as soon as we get a few out the door, we are going to start going live with video games. We'll be doing a lot of different kinds of games. We have some games on our pad or tablet, and we also have our Switch games. We don't have any other stations right now. If people like what we're doing, we will increase our stations. We're going to kind of go where this takes us. We're having fun with this. And just to let everyone know, like, subscribe, hit the notification little jingly dingly.
And the subscribe, make it as great as you can.
Ain't that the truth?
And gonna walk like an Egyptian out of here.
Some skills on the boy. Oh my goodness. Cool, y'all. So with that right there, we're going to wrap this up. Share with anyone. Make sure, keep coming in at 7 o'clock. I might turn this into a permanent thing. My weekends might change their hours to work kind of best for the weekends. I may only do one day. But I do this anyways. This is just what I'm doing no matter what. So I figured I might as well be going live with it, because then you'll see what's happening, yo diggity live. So I figured, yo diggity, might as well keep going with this. Yeah, I know I don't have a ton of people right now, but I know people can go back on these to see any of the past to catch back up. I'm going to keep the jabber live. If people do like this, I can't wait to bring more people in. I do a lot of prosthetic stuff, so I would like to bring in some people and do live prosthetic work, which we do ears, noses, over-the-top eyebrow stuff. I do live casting, so I'll do the whole head. I'll do arms, legs, any part of the person. I can also do bellies for mummies' tummies. I've done all those things. So if anyone wants to actually have anything like that done, go hit up my website as well. It's danceartland1.com. Get on it. Check it out. I know it looks a little hacked as of this date right now, but for anybody in the future, I should have it all wrapped up and working. So that's kind of where I'm going with all those things. I hope you guys enjoy. Please leave comments. I'm curious to find out what people are thinking about all this. I know this is my raw, and you're going to be seeing me progress and getting more and more, so that should be fun as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to bringing my airbrush back out. It's going to come soon. Just keep watching, y'all. Majora's Mask, almost done. Peace!